Kevin, you have to request to go live.
Second picture on the
Make a request. We're trying here to
send a request to the Ozone Therapy live feed.
aquí no dice.
No, a ver, go live with the, ahí lo voy a poner. Ajá. No, ahí se cansa.
Hi everybody, tuning up. Waiting for Dr. Logan.
Él te está pidiendo a ti. Dr. Logan is unable to join, it says. Send invites to Logan.
We're good?
We're almost there.
Okay. I'm not technologically competent,
I know. It's difficult, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Right.
Even for me.
Right.
The thing is, I cannot see you.
You can't see me?
No. Are you all? No te veo. Let's see what's happening. It's like thinking. Is your camera on?
Yeah, my camera's on. Let me.
Black?
Sí, no sé por qué. It's like.
It's like thinking.
I still can see you, Kevin.
Did he see?
Kevin, are you there? Oh no. We lost him. Is it?
Moved. No, you're not moving.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Okay. I might have to go in. Let me see if I can.
He's changing devices or
Are you, I don't know why it's black and we cannot see you. People joining. We have technical problem with Dr. Logan. We cannot see him. He's gone now. Let's try again.
okay, he's changing devices.
No.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Kevin. How are you?
Shoot.
Yeah, these first minutes are very stressful, but
Right.
now we're done. Thank you for joining us. How
Absolutely.
things with you?
Everything's going very well. Yeah, we're busy, I'm sure, as you are, right?
Yeah, we're busy. Okay, well, this is a space, Kevin, to educate and inform people about ozone therapy and all the benefits. Dr. Kevin Logan is a medical doctor in Indiana, my friend, and he's ISCO member and the director of the Logan Institute. He's a professor with to the diploma in promo. So he's got a lot of knowledge in ozone therapy. So, well, Kevin, tell us a bit about the Logan Institute. What do you do there? How is your view of the medicine you practice now?
Sure. So we started the Logan Institute approximately 18 years ago. I'm internal medicine trained and have been an internal student since the day I graduated from medical school. So I'm constantly learning new therapies, new techniques. And here at the Institute, our goal is really to identify the root cause of illness and determine what is causing patients discomfort or disease or issues that they're having. And through identification of those, whatever is the root cause, then we address that individually so we can help them recover back to their optimal state of health. So it's a lot of investigation. We do a lot of analysis. So it's very thorough before the patient actually gets any kind of therapeutic regimen or recommendations, just because we want to make sure that we've identified all the things that may be contributing to their ongoing issues. So we do.
Tell us about when did you get to know ozone therapy, how you get into ozone therapy, about of your experience in your institute.
So I have known of ozone therapy for several years, but approximately 6 years ago, I was introduced to ozone therapy by one of our other colleagues, Dr. Michael Gosweiler, who's a dentist in town. He's a biologic dentist, and he basically insisted that I go to Utah to learn about ozone therapy. And he practically dragged me. He said, "You have to go." So I said, "All right, I'll go check it out." And we have a very good relationship and working together with complex patients, so I trusted him. So we went to the meeting, my first meeting in Utah, and met Dr. Adriana Schwartz, who then invited me to come to Honduras. She said, "If you want to learn more about ozone therapy, you have to travel to Honduras and learn more hands-on." And that was the beginning. And then from there, it's been more courses, and as you know, the diploma course, and then of course, lots of hands-on experience with our patients. there's not a day in our practice that we don't implement or utilize ozone multiple times a day. I mean, we're using ozone every single day in our practice. And one thing, and I don't know who the audience is, but one thing that I wanted to, let people know is there's a lot of misunderstanding about ozone. When you say the word ozone, people think of the ozone layer in the atmosphere and that it's toxic and all these kinds of things. And there's a great misunderstanding. And I think one thing that we really need to try to educate some of the, just general public and patients with is, what is ozone and how does it work? And so, I just wanted to make that point because I think it's often misunderstood. And I actually like the terminology of oxidative therapies better, and ozone therapy being one category of oxidative therapies. And we can talk a little bit more about that in depth. But just for the audience to know that ozone was discovered in 2003 and published that it was shown that neutrophils, one of our types of white blood cells, actually make ozone.
Yes.
And because ozone has a short half-life, it was not discovered previously. So we know that our bodies make ozone, and so ozone is part of our body's mechanism to protect us against various infections and help mitigate inflammation, a lot of other factors. And so the fact that our bodies make ozone on a daily basis or on a nanosecond basis really is important for everyone to know that it's part of our own biology.
A lot of people ask me why ozone therapy is not FDA approved, and if it is safe, and if it's legal in the United States, and what are the contraindications? Can you talk about a bit of that, please?
Sure. So, I mean, ozone therapy is approved for application in a variety of states in the United States. It's not FDA approved because it's not something that could be patented because it's a naturally occurring molecule that's produced in the body. So there's no way to patent that, and that's why the FDA is not able to prove that per se. But it is approved for medical application in a variety of states across the country.
And do you think it's safe? Can you talk about the contraindication and the side effects of ozone therapy?
So ozone therapy is extremely safe when it's practiced and administered by individuals that are highly trained. And so the course that Dr. Acevedo and I went through in Madrid was a very long course with lots of learning and testing, hands-on application, and studying and presentation of a paper and publication of the papers and things like that. So it's very, very extensive training. And it's not something that one would learn in a weekend course or a week-long course. This is over many months and years of training. And the research and the science behind ozone therapy is extremely strong in terms of just the number of studies that have been done and its safety and efficacy. So safety first and effectiveness obviously is important as well. So as long as it's administered by a competent practitioner who knows how to apply this, in what conditions, in what dosages, it's very, very safe. So, I mean, there are some potential side effects, and I don't know if you want me to talk about those, but the most important, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's just to be sure that it's safe, and it's a medical treatment always an adjuvant medical treatment, and as you said, it's got to be done by an ozone therapist. Here in the state, you should be certified by the American Academy or for IPROBO and ISCO 3. So we have a lot of way to regulate ozone therapy. And the Madrid Declaration, for instance, you can talk about a bit of that.
Yeah, so the standards by which we're practicing are based on science and research, and we actually use the Madrid Declaration as kind of one of our leading tools for application. So there's many different modes to apply ozone therapy, but it has to be done, again, in the proper dose and in the proper form. So you know, there's differing effects depending on the dosages that are used. And so the widespread effects on the human organism and on our biology is incredible. And one of the things that I would say is, you know, again, back to that oxidative therapy model that I wanted to talk about. So ozone therapy falls in the category of an oxidative therapy, but there's many other therapies that are out there that I think also people need to be aware of. And the human organism has been adapting since the beginning of time to stressors such as heat, cold, exercise, you know, lack of food. And these are all stimulants to basically cause the organism to adapt to a stressful situation. And unfortunately, we've gotten very comfortable, and everybody likes their thermostat at 72 degrees, right? And we're losing a lot of our adaptation. And so I emphasize with all of my patients that, you know, you want to stress the body with exercise, you know, to a point. You want to fast, you know, practice intermittent.
Exactly, the intermittent fasting is important because your body's got to kind of wake up and adapt to the lack of food and you know, put your systems to work. And that's what ozone therapy actually does.
Exactly. So ozone therapy falls into that category of oxidative stress, low dose oxidative stress, that enhances the body's production of antioxidant systems, increases metabolism, increases blood flow, increases growth factors for blood circulation, increases metabolism, oxygen metabolism. I mean, the effects are so profound and so far-reaching in the entire body. It's an amazing tool to apply to a whole host of conditions.
Yes, one of the things I really like is the anti-inflammatory effect that ozone therapy has. It's unbelievable. In just one cycle, your inflammatory kind of states is down, and I mean, that's health, really.
Absolutely. No, we see that.
Tell me which diseases, what is your experience? You are an internal medicine doctor. I mean, diabetes. What do you treat with ozone therapy?
So we treat a variety of conditions. Certainly, diabetes is you know, very common in the practice. Atherosclerotic coronary artery disease. So those are two conditions that have underlying high degrees of oxidative stress, which helps with, or the ozone therapy is extremely effective for that. You talked about chronic pain, certainly, and fibromyalgia. Its anti-inflammatory effects. One of the other things that is interesting is, you know, the role of nitric oxide and ozone. And ozone therapy basically will increase the production of nitric oxide, and the role of nitric oxide for blood pressure regulation, for oxygen delivery, antiviral activity. And nitric oxide is critical for viruses as well. So we produce nitric oxide when we breathe through our nose. So nitric oxide is critical for that component, as well as the other, you know, effects on the hypothalamus, pituitary, and all the endocrine organs, plus the regulation of the immune system and the nervous system is so important in that nitric oxide actually helps regulate and modulate those systems. Yes. So ozone therapy stimulates, that's just one component. I mean, there's so many aspects and facets to the biologic effects of ozone that is
hemoxygenase one, and the production of CO as well.
Yes.
And you know, the body also produces CO,
right,
like nitric oxide, and now we know ozone as well. So yes, what about what's the benefit you think people should know about, I mean, ozone therapy for not just for people that has chronic problems, but also to enhance the well-being, the health, and you know, because now with this pandemic, I think everybody is aware that we need to look after our health before something happens. So what do you think is the main kind of message for people that want to seek a better life?
So, you know, ozone therapy is, we use it often when there's already an underlying condition, whether it's a acute or chronic viral infection, bacterial infection, fungal infection. I mean, the germicidal properties of ozone are well documented and very effective. But also in healthy individuals, it's very important to actually, I believe, do regular maintenance ozone type treatments just to increase stem cell production, to increase oxygenation, to help boost the immune system and keep one healthy. And then, of course, if one becomes ill, then we would apply a more rigorous regimen. But for general health and the healthy individual, the effects are tremendous, both from anti-aging, from actually liver detoxification, increases phase 2 liver detoxification. It reduces cell death and apoptosis. I mean, the list goes on. And so ozone therapy for the healthy individual is quite effective at maintaining health, enhancing health, and also has this kind of anti-aging effect. But it's all about balance, you know, and that's the thing we emphasize with all of our patients, because our bodies are constantly in a state of oxidation and reduction. And so ozone therapy helps maintain that homeostatic or that balance between the oxidation and reduction state. So oxidation, loss of an electron, reduction, donation of an electron is critical for the body's ability to balance. At times we need oxidation, right, to kill viruses, fungus, bacteria, eliminate potentially cancerous cells. But when the need for that oxidative effect is completed, then we need our antioxidant systems to come in and neutralize those free radicals and bring the body back to homeostasis. And ozone assists with all of those processes.
Yeah. Let's talk about a bit of oxygenation and the super erythrocyte we create with ozone as well, because I mean, it's amazing how people feel much more energized and breathe better, and people who is at sports, for instance, feel, you know, these muscles full of energy and blood. So tell us about a bit the oxygenation through ozone therapy.
Sure. So basically there's several effects with ozone, but one of the main effects is increasing oxygen delivery. So it shifts the disassociation of oxygen from hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is the protein that carries oxygen in the red blood cells. So it actually it shifts that curve. So what it does is it actually delivers more oxygen to the tissue. So the athletes and the average person feel a boost of oxygen delivery. We see it a lot in patients who are actually dealing with some low oxygen levels and hypoxemia and viral infections, and the effect is immediate. I mean, people can feel better, they start to breathe better, but certainly in performance athletes and just your average person, the increased oxygenation is key. But also, as I mentioned before, increasing that nitric oxide, that's going to increase blood flow to all the tissues, to the brain and all of that. So,
what about autoimmune diseases? Because that is very important. Because when we use low doses, we stimulate the immune system, but when we go up, we inhibit the immune system. So it's good for autoimmune disease like arthritis, lupus, allergies. Can you talk about a bit of that? Because I bet you have a lot of patients with autoimmune diseases.
Absolutely, and we're going to see more probably in the next couple of years is my prediction, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So there's differing effects, as Dr. Acevedo had mentioned. So at a low dose of ozone therapy, we're actually enhancing the immune system and increasing immune activity. At moderate doses, we're also modulating the immune system, but we're increasing protein synthesis as well for things such as superoxide dismutase, catalase, hemoxygenase, glutathione peroxidase, all the enzyme systems that help neutralize free radicals. And then at the higher doses, that has more of an anti-inflammatory effect. And that's where we would apply that to rheumatoid arthritis, to lupus, to psoriasis, to allergies, you name it. So anything that has an overactive component to the immune system, the higher doses of ozone therapy would be very effective at modulating the inflammatory response and also in pain. I mean, you know, we talked about pain. Interestingly, so ozone therapy, or ozone, was discovered to actually modulate a relatively new pain mechanism called the caspase system. So caspase is a class of molecules that actually are contributing to chronic pain and acute pain as well. And that's another effect that we see in these individuals that have rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. Many of them have chronic pain in joints and other tissues, and so the ozone has the added benefit of really modulating that caspase system to reduce overall pain and inflammation.
And do you treat cancer patients with ozone therapy? Do you have these kind of patients in your institute? I can hear you.
Support their immune system, and those individuals, obviously, we would give very low dose applications of ozone therapy, but we don't treat. Ozone therapy is really an adjuvant or adjunctive therapy. It's a supportive therapy for cancer. So there have been animal studies in looking at the oxygen levels of tumors, and it's interesting, especially as it applies to radiation therapy. So radiation therapy is effective by the generation of free radicals. So you don't want to actually have a lot of antioxidants available in treatment of a patient who has a cancer that is undergoing radiation therapy. So, but ozone has been shown to enhance the activity, the oxygen levels of the tissue, which actually enhances the activity of the radiation. So there is benefit, at least in some of the animal studies, looking at ozone therapy as a tool to enhance the effects of radiation therapy. So when you look at a tumor, the oxygen levels of the tumor differ depending on where the sample is taken. So in the center of the tumor, often those cells are hypoxemic. They have very little oxygen delivered, and so those are not prone to the effects of radiation as the ones on the outside of the tumor would be. So ozone has an application there, but also just in terms of, in general, increasing the immune system's ability to help fight the cancer as well.
Yes. Well, Dr. Logan, it's been a pleasure. You are a very good professor. How can you invite other health practitioners to join us and do ozone therapy here in the States? How could you say to them?
Well, I think the most important thing is, as I mentioned before, we have to make sure that the individuals that are administering the therapy are trained in the methods and in terms of safety and efficacy as we've been trained. And so I think that's very important. I think, you know, I appreciate your enthusiasm and you know, your ability to really pull people together, because this is so important. And we know that in today's environment, we need to find other tools in order to be able to stay healthy and deal with some of the situations that we're encountering today.
And tomorrow, because it's going to be hard.
Right. So I think the future is bright for ozone therapy. I mean, as I said, I mean, we use it multiple times a day, and the reason is because it's so effective. So
excellent. Well, thank you very much for being with us today. Dr. Logan is in Indiana, You can find him in Logan Institute. Well, Kevin, I hope to see you soon.
Me too. I miss you.
Exactly. This pandemic is throwing us apart, but we'll be together. We'll see each other very soon with Adriana and all the guys.
Very good. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. This has been wonderful, and keep up the good work. And I promise I will try to. And actually, there is somebody viewing tonight that is very important and going to help me get some of the word out. So I am, as you can see, it took me 2 minutes to get a camera on my face. So with a little assistance, maybe we can use this platform and others to continue to educate people and provide opportunities. And you and I can partner also in the training of some of those individuals stateside. So, and I'd be happy to travel to Florida too. So
excellent. Yeah, we'll have to do some workshops and the one we used to do before, because I think it's important, as you said. I think the future for ozone therapy is very bright, and so we need to get people to work with us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Say hello to all the guys up there in Indiana, and I hope to see you soon.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right. Bye.